How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having a great day, because today we have a story of probably one of the worst Karens that I've ever received a story about. So sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's just jump right into this. I'm going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Ken. So anyways, right, this all happened when Ken was literally in 5th grade. He was just a little kid, right? And actually, some people are in 5th grade watching this. You're an adult, man. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But anyways, right, so Ken was invited over to a birthday party of another one of his friends. It was a outdoors Star Wars themed birthday party. In my opinion, it sounds pretty hype. But anyways, right, there was some Karens in the neighborhood that might have disagreed, as you guys will see. Anyways, Ken's mom is driving him over, and they have their present ready. And, they drive over, they get to the house, and there's a big sign in the front yard that says, party in the back of the house, like, just walk around to the backyard, and, the gate's open, just walk around. So anyways, right, Ken and his mom walk over, and Ken's carrying the present, and you go into the backyard, and you see all these kids around. It's kind of like Star Wars themed, so they have these, like, foam lightsabers. I used to have some as a kid. Those are fire. They have, like, stormtrooper costumes. They have a big Death Star piñata. It's fire. It's a great birthday party, right? So anyways, Ken walks over, his the birthday kids, the birthday boy's mother comes over, greets them, says thank you so much. Ken's mom says, hey, where do we put the present? Points over at a table. They go over, put the present down. And Ken's having a really good time. And honestly, everyone's having a really good time at this birthday party, and it's not that loud. I mean, first of all, it's like 2 in the afternoon. It's during the summer. They have a pool. It's not like everyone else was inside being super quiet. And it wasn't like there was a curfew at 2 in the afternoon being like, you can't be reasonably loud at 2 in the afternoon during the summer because your kids are having fun in a birthday party. That's illegal, right? That's not a thing. But apparently the Karen in the neighborhood, she didn't realize this. So anyways, right, this all happened when Ken and all of his friends were just playing around, and Ken's parents and, the other kids' parents that were there at the party were standing at the tables watching the kids play. And that's when this older woman walks through and into the party, and Ken turns around and assumes, oh, maybe this is the birthday kid's grandma, or maybe this is someone that they know. Maybe this is just an older mom. Who even knows, right? Woman walks in, and she says, who's in charge here? And immediately when she says this, Ken and probably everyone else at the party immediately knew that, something was off, that, no, this is not a friendly sight, right? This is not an ally. This is not someone on our team. This is definitely someone who doesn't want this party to succeed. So anyways, right, and just so you know, the party was not that loud. Sure, kids were jumping into the pool. Sure, some kids were running around screaming. If you live in a neighborhood during the summer and you don't hear that, then you're living in an old person neighborhood, man, with no grandkids coming over. It's a common thing to happen. They weren't being crazy loud. They weren't blasting music. But anyways, the Karen must have had nothing better to do, so she walked over, she saw the sign, and she invited herself into this kid's birthday party. So the Karen is like, who's in charge here? And, the birthday kid's mom walks over and says, hey, tries to, settle it down so the Karen doesn't make a scene. And she goes over, and she's like, hello, this is my son's birthday party. And the Karen's like, it's too loud. It's too loud. And, she's like, okay, well, I'll tell them to quiet down. I don't think it's been we've been unreasonably loud, but, just for your preference, I'll ask them to quiet down a little bit. And the Karen looks at her and then turns to all the kids and says, you kids better keep it down or you'll be hearing more from me. And you don't want to mess with me because that means you're messing with my husband. And then she kind of waddles away, right? So at this point, Ken and all the parents and all the kids there look at each other. And, the birthday kid's mom's like, all right, guys, can we just be a little bit quieter? You can keep doing what you're doing. Keep jumping in the pool. That's all good with me. But can you just be a little bit quieter so she doesn't come over again? And they're all like, yeah, totally makes sense. That's totally fair. And they just go back to doing what they're normally doing, right? Life is good again. And yeah, they don't really quiet down that much. but they weren't being loud in the first place. No one's going to jump into the pool quietly. Like, how do you jump into the pool quietly? You're going to make a splash. Do you pencil dive in every single time? Bro, cannonballs are fun. I'm sorry. Are the kids running around doing like the lightsaber games? Are they going to be completely quiet? This isn't a Buddhist monk temple, bro. You can talk. It's fine. It's not a monastery. Like, come on now. So anyways, the kids go back to being kids. As kids should, right? And once again, Ken is just, completely forgot about the Karen who came over and said, "You guys better quiet down or my husband will beat you up." Okay, she didn't say that, but you know what I mean. Ken completely forgot about the Karen, and that's until, right, they Ken hears the gate open again. Assume it's maybe new kids coming to the party that were late. Maybe someone had to step outside. Maybe, I don't know. But Ken doesn't think that it's the Karen walking through. But sure enough, right? Sure enough, the same old woman walks through again. And she's like, "Attention!" She literally screams, "Attention!" And everyone at the party, the kids, the parents, people in the pool, people playing lightsabers, everybody stops what they're doing and they turn around and they look at this Karen. And this Karen, after screaming "attention," is like, "I warned you guys to not be too loud. This is your final warning." And they all kind of looked at her like, "Bro, are you crazy?" Like, no disrespect, actually, all disrespect, but are you crazy, dude? And she's like, "And if I have to come around one more time, I'm calling the police on this party and having it shut down." And the birthday kid's mom says, goes over and says, "Ma'am, with all due respect, we're really not being that loud. Like, these parties happen all the time." And it's true. There was a lot of families in the neighborhood, and during the summer, they had kids, and the kids were playing. Kids were being kids. That's part of being in the neighborhood with a bunch of parents, a bunch of families. That's how it goes during the summertime, man. I mean, enjoy the laughter of kids. There's much worse background noise, I don't know, nails on a chalkboard? Would you rather that be your neighborhood sound? Anyways, though, so the Karen is like, "Either way, if you guys are loud one more time, you can leave me no choice but to call the police on all of you." And at this point, people were kind of looking at each other. Ken was kind of looking back and forth like, "Oh my God, what's going on right now?" And the Karen looks at all of them and just literally points at all the kids, which, bro, point at the parents. If you're going to be doing this, fight the parents. Don't fight the kids on this. And she looks at all of them. She says, "I'm watching you all." And the Karen waddles off in her little moo-moo thing or whatever. And so the birthday kid's mom turns to all the kids and is kind of upset at this point. She's like, "Guys, you were not being too loud. Don't let that old woman tell you that. That's ridiculous. You guys are totally fine. If she's going to call the police on a kid's birthday party, then let her call the police on a kid's birthday party. Everybody go ham." And everyone was kind of in agreement because they did know that if the police were to come, they would have the police were going to show up. They were going to hear the level of noise, and they were going to realize that this old woman called the cops. They could have been, maybe they were needed somewhere else. Maybe they were needed on duty, but no, this woman decided that, because these kids were having a birthday party and enjoying, the summer fun, that they were the real problem here, and don't get it twisted. Come on now, bro. You can't seriously think that. So the police if they're going to show up, they're going to hear it, and they're going to realize it's not being a problem, and, it's going to be completely ineffective. So the birthday kid's mom is like, "Screw it. Everyone be as loud as you want. I personally don't care." So all the kids go back to doing what they're doing, and sure enough, right, the sound goes back up because, the kids just go back to playing their games. They're in the pool. They're playing lightsabers. Ken is having a good time with his friends. And that's when you hear the gate not open. The last two times the gate opened, this time it was opened with such intentional force that it slammed. And for all we know, it could have cracked or braked or something. But people heard, broke, sorry. The people heard the gate slam. So everyone immediately turns around and looks at it. And they see the Karen walking over, and this time it is like this old male Karen who is walking over too. By the way, Karen doesn't just mean female. There are plenty of male Karens, bro. They exist, and here's proof. So anyways, right, the Karen and her husband, male Karen, are both standing there. And you would have thought that the way that Karen spoke about her husband, that this guy would have been 6'8", 300 pounds, 100% muscle, 0% body fat, carrying 2 Gatling guns on his hands. Like, you would have thought that he was a crazy, or president of the United States with a drone strike ready for your face if you disagreed. But unfortunately, no, actually, fortunately, no. He was just another old Karen dude. Like, they both walk over, and the Karen starts laughing. Imagine laughing at a bunch of kids enjoying themselves. She's laughing. She's like, "You've done it now. You've done it now, haven't you? You have fallen into my trap." And everyone kind of turns around and is like, "Ma'am, did you just say fallen into your trap? Like, you're trying to trap these little kids?" She goes on to say, "I gave you 1, no, 2 whole warnings that if you guys didn't quiet down with your shenanigans and crazy party," okay, if you call this a crazy party, some kids jumping into the pool and playing lightsabers, then Karen, I don't know what parties you're going to. But anyways, right, she's like, "If I told you not to quiet down, then I would call the police, and now I'm coming back with my husband. Aren't you guys intimidated?" And the Karen turns to all the kids. The kids kind of just stare back, blinking, like, "What? Is this some old Karen, bro? Like, no, I'm not intimidated. Like, what are you talking about?" She's like, "That's it. I'm calling the cops." So anyways, calls the police, right? Shows everyone 911. She picks it up. She's like, officers, please, I need you to get here now." Says the name and address of like the place that they were at. "Please, it's a crazy party. They're going to destroy the neighborhood. We need you here now. Oh no." Starts this like fake crying bit. And you could hear the operator being like, "Ma'am, don't worry, we'll be there right away." And she turns out the phone. The Karen's like, "Ha ha ha ha. This is what you get for disturbing the peace." And at this point, right, the mother of the birthday kid is pretty angry, and she's like, "Did you seriously just call the police on kids having fun, enjoying like their birthday party? First of all, this stuff happens all the time, right? Second of all, these are a bunch of kids, right? These are a bunch of kids at a birthday party. This is not what the officers are thinking, that you're calling in some crazy rager party that's going to actually cause damage to the city and is actually way too loud and whatever, right? These are some kids with a Star Wars themed birthday party. Like, this is going to be the biggest flop for you ever. This is going to be embarrassing for you. This is ridiculous. I can't wait to see it go down. So at this point, right, the Karen and this mom are completely beefing, and it's pretty interesting. The tension in this room you could definitely cut with a knife. But anyways, everyone's just kind of waiting. Like, they kind of just go back to doing what they're doing while, like, the birthday, because they're kind of waiting for the cops to show up. But they just go back to playing their Star Wars stuff because, I don't know, they're in 5th grade. Why would they care? And anyways, right, so the Karen and, the birthday kid's mom are kind of feuding. They're kind of yelling at each other. Not super loudly, but they're kind of, like, angrily talking. You know the difference between, like, angry talking and straight up yelling? They were angry talking. So when all of a sudden, right, they hear the gate open up a bit more politely than the Karen ever opened up that gate, and they see 2 officers walk to the back. And immediately the Karen goes, officers, thank you so much. Oh my God, you're here." And the male Karen is like, "Thank you, gentlemen, for arriving. Like, if you didn't arrive 1 minute sooner, the whole town would have been in flames," or something completely ridiculous, right? So the officers look around, and they're just looking at Star Wars piñata, foam lightsabers, a pool, and a bunch of 5th graders running around having fun. And they're just like, "What?" So they go up, and they're like, "Who called this in?" And the male Karen and the female Karen both raise their hands, and they're like, officers, we did it." And they're like, was it like, where's the party? Like, is it down a couple blocks or something? And Karen's like, "Can't you see? It's right in front of you. This is outrageous." Real quick, comment Karen if you made it this far into the video. I just like to see the names and faces of people who made it this far, and I'll try and heart a bunch of comments of people who do. And also, if you want to support the channel, the best way is by just sitting down and watching a bunch of videos in a row. So maybe later or after this video, just keep watching videos, and in the comment section, let me know what you're doing while you're watching these videos. I'm actually very curious, like playing a video game, are you drawing, do these videos help you go to sleep? I'm really curious. I love reading the comments, and just like, I'll heart a bunch of them, whatever like that. And the little final thing I want to say is if you guys like energy drinks, and you guys like gamer subs, wait a couple days, because I got a cool thing coming for you guys. But anyways, I don't want to spoil anything. Let's just get back into it. So anyways, the Karen versus police versus little kids at a 5th grader's Star Wars birthday party, right? The big menaces, of course. They're the real problem in this town. But anyways, right, the officers are kind of looking at the Karen and are like, ma'am, are you serious? And she's like, seriously upset? Yeah. And they're kind of just like, no, like, did you call us in saying that there was a crazy party that had an immediate threat to the nearby neighborhood, and this was it? And the Karen's like, yeah, what's your point? And they're like, ma'am, this is a bunch of kids playing at a birthday party, or what looks like, and he points to the presents. And he's like, if they were significantly louder than they were when I walked in, I wouldn't have even cared. But when I was walking in, I barely heard any audible noise. And the kids continue to play like in the pool. Like, kids are allowed to jump in the pool. Kids are allowed to yell and scream and talk to each other and run around. And it's 2 in the afternoon, ma'am. Do you really need your afternoon nap that bad? Like, can't you take it earlier or later, or just go to bed later? Like, is it really that big of a deal? And at this point, the male Karen is like, look here, son, like back in my day, these kids would have been rounded up and thrown in jail. And the officer's like, sir, I really don't think that's what happened. He's really like, I really don't think that was a thing. He's like, are you disrespecting my authority? And the officer's like, authority? He's like, yes, respect your elders and listen to everything we say always. And the Karen's like, yeah, lock them up. And then immediately the male Karen and the female Karen start chanting, lock them up, lock them up, lock them up, lock them. And they're just pointing at the kids. And the officers are so dumbfounded that these 2 old people are chanting, lock up these kids for just having fun at a birthday party. At this point, the parents start getting really mad, and they're kind of mumbling, and they're yelling stuff. And the kids literally, like, Ken is like, kind of remembers part of this, but part of his memory is blurry because he was too busy in a epic lightsaber duel with his friend. Bro, those went so hard, the lightsaber duels. My dad and I used to do those every night. We'd have, like, the light-up plastic ones. It'd be, like, late at night, and it would just be, like, all you could really see was the lightsaber. That was so fire. That was so much fun. I'd do it again now if I could find them. But anyways, right, so at this point, the officers are like, ma'am, like, can I get your name? And she's like, is this for a civic award for reporting the worst crime ever? They're like, no. In fact, we're getting your name so that, like, as a violation, like, for wasting our time. And if you call us again, we're going to have a serious talk. And at this point, right, the Karen is like, this is unacceptable! And balls up her fist and literally starts swinging and punching at the officers. And they're like, ma'am, like, stop this. And the Karen runs away, right? Doesn't sprint out of there, but, like, waddles quickly. And the male Karen starts blocking the 2 police officers, like, you stay away from my wife. Right, so this woman just called the cops on a bunch of kids and then started, like, swinging on these officers, making contact with their face. Bro, pro tip to not get arrested. Don't punch a police officer. Trust me, you'll be better off not doing that. But anyways, right, you know, these 2 officers are kind of like trying to push through. And eventually, right, the male Karen escapes into her car. And at this point, right, they're both like, Karen drives away. But, the female Karen drives away. The male Karen is still there. At this point, all the kids have stopped. And they're like, oh, my God, it's a fight. Let's go watch. So everyone, like, is looking around. And at this point, the male Karen is, like, being interrogated by the police, basically being like, where do you guys live? He's like, I'm not saying anything. He's like, sir, like, if you cooperate, it'll be, like, like it won't be as bad. And that's when one of the parents says, I recognize those people. Like they like cause problems for my cousins. Because they're like, I guess their cousins live in the neighborhood too. Like apparently they're always like throwing stuff over the fence, being like really obnoxious neighbors. And she's like, I know exactly where they live. So at this point, right, the male Karen's like, no. And the police get into the car and they drive over to where like the Karen is actually at. And at this point, right, the party's completely derailed and all the kids, like, you know, the kid, like Ken speaks to the kid of the mom who knows where the Karen's lives. And Ken's like, dude, where do these people live? And the kid's like, dude, they only live like 2 blocks away. So all the kids are like, bye, Mom, we'll see you later. And the parents are like, wait, no. All the kids like start running down in that direction. And they run down there. And once they get down there, the police are already there and they're knocking on the door. Police officer's like, ma'am, you cannot assault one of us and then run away. That is literally unacceptable. And she responds back, I am your elder, and I don't need to listen to you. And also, I am a woman, you should respect me. And this is very disrespectful. You know it's important to be courteous to ladies like myself. At this point, the officers are like, ma'am, we treat everyone equally here. We're taking you in either way. She's like, no, that's not courteous to the ladies. No. And they're like, ma'am, we're going to have to if you don't open this door, we don't want to break it down. We don't want to cause damage to your property. Trust me, we're going to get I know that we're going to get a bunch of nonsense from you. But at the end of the day, we're coming in one way or another. So either you open this door or we're opening it. And she says, you'll have to fight my husband first. And that's when the officers turn around and the male Karen walks up on both of them. He's like, you stay away from my house or my wife. And he punches one in the face. However, right, you might be like, oh my God, was it a Mike Tyson at his prime knockout? No, it was imagine you tape a pillow onto your fist and you do a slow motion punch in the direction of someone with a pillow on your fist. That was the equivalent of the punch. But that was enough for the officers to be like, all right now. So one of them puts the old guy in handcuffs. He's like, no. He's like, Karen, or whatever her actual name was, like, escape. It's too late for me, my love. You must get out of here. And she's like, no, Steven, no. And you could hear the garage door open, right? She's trying to walk out the garage door when the police officers were right next to it. The door was right next to the garage door, but she thought that she could outrun the officers. So she starts waddling out. She's like, don't do anything that wouldn't be courteous to the ladies. You'll regret doing that. The police officer's like, ma'am, please. Ma'am, please. Come on now, ma'am. Please stop. And she's like, no, you must stop. And she continues to waddle down the street, right? So at this point, all the kids are like, you know what? We're helping the officers. Screw this. This lady destroyed the birthday party. So all the kids, they don't touch the woman or anything, right? They keep their distance. But they basically make a human wall around, basically blocking her in from walking on the sidewalk or turning over to the street. The Karen's like, you evil little children, get out of my way. This is not very courteous to the ladies. Your parents have taught you nothing about manners. They should have taught you that you have to be courteous to ladies, and this is not courteous to ladies. And at this point, right, all the kids are just screaming and laughing because, bro, this is the most fun they've ever had. They're involved in a police investigation, basically. So they're blocking this woman off. They're making a human shield. And that's when the officer comes up behind her and is like, ma'am, please make this easy. And she's like, if you put me in handcuffs, my husband. And the officer's like, ma'am, your husband's already been detained. She turns around. She's like, no. And she's like, I'm going to run through these kids at full speed. If you don't arrest. Immediately puts her in cuffs. Boom. And I mean, bro, I don't know what she was thinking when she's like, I know what I'll do. I'll threaten these kids. Okay, bro, the officer's gonna be like, you know what, ma'am? After threatening those kids, I've really come to realize that you're a rational individual and we should have a cordial discussion over a cup of hot tea to decide what will come from. No. No. False. That just didn't happen, bro. That just did. She got arrested, bro, in the cuffs, out of here. Karen gets out of here. Anyways, all the kids are cheering. The parents rush over because, you know, they were walking over and they were slower than the kids. And they're like, kids, never do that again. Like, oh, that was so dangerous. And the officer goes over and they're like, we should, like, just from us, from the boys, like, just like from the police force, we want to let you know, like, thanks to these kids, we're able to stop the Karen. Obviously, right, kids weren't necessary. The police officer could have easily got the Karen, but they wanted to make it like a cool thing for like the kid's birthday. And they're like, we just want to let you know. And he kind of like bends down on his knees to all the kids, like, you boys are all honorary officers today. And they're all like, oh my God, whatever, right? And they turn to the birthday boy and they're like, we just want to let you know that, like, we wish you a super happy birthday or whatever, right? So it's a pretty cool birthday. And they kind of turn it around. They bring it back to the house and they kind of like have a bit of like a little bit more of a celebration, right? They go back to like, the lightsabers. They go back to, it's like 4, it's getting late. They jump in the pool. They actually break the Death Star pinata. That's kind of fun or whatever. And at that point, right, the parents come over and, they're talking about what happened when the kids were over there. The parents are like, that was dangerous. Like, that woman was clearly deranged. Like, you don't know what she would have done. But they're like, you guys did like a good thing, so it can't be too mad. Anyways, right, Ken and his mom drive back home. And they sit down at the dinner table, and Ken's dad gets back from work. And he's like, so, Ken, how did the birthday party go? And Ken's mom just breaks out laughing. And, Ken's dad's like, why's your mom laughing, Ken? And Ken's like, boy, do I have a story.
Click on the video on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it. Do it.